But okay.
Okay, yeah. Today we're looking at what do people mean, or is that really the best expression when people say, "Oh, I don't want to be like my parents." They had a miserable marriage, and every time my dad would say, "I just had to stay in the marriage because of the children," and then the women say, "I want to stay in the marriage. I'm staying in the marriage just because of the children," and or not a voice. Sometimes people also say, "Oh, I have to leave. I mean, I need to be alive because if I go and die in the marriage, the children will still grow anyway." Well, in my own opinion, I'm just going to be sharing my own opinion, what I think about it. It might not be your absolute truth, or it might not be your absolute stand, but it's what I think about it. And remember, on this channel, I'm not the expert. I don't expect you to be the expert because a lot of the conversations, when it comes to practice or when it comes to reality, they're going to be based on one-on-one experience. So it's not a matter of my ish is not your ish. Your ish is not my ish. But it does appear as if we probably get it all wrong because the matter of staying in marriage for the sake of our children kind of look like sometime, or the matter of living married, or when we say, "Oh, I need to be alive first so that my children will know me as their father or as their mother." Sometimes it does appear like an excuse, or I think is a wrong perspective altogether. Because when we say it, the picture for me that I hear is, "Oh, I'm in this marriage that looks like a pit of hair, and I'm inside, and I'm all crushed up, and I'm all oppressed, and miserable. Oh, and have all the negative things, but I'm just in need for the sake of my children. And so, well, I don't mind dying here in this hair hole just for the sake of the children." Sometimes that's what you want us to hear. So for those who jump out, on the other hand, they are saying, "Oh, you were not in my position. If you knew what I was going through, oh, I was a skeleton of myself. It was miserable. It was hellish. It was this. Man, I had to leave that marriage before I go and go crazy." So now we paint this picture. We have to jump out of the marriage so that our children can have us, so that we can stay alive. It can be true in some cases, but I'm also thinking, what if the mindset is, "I have to fix my marriage for the sake of my children"? What if the mindset is, "Oh, we were getting everything wrong, we were arguing all the time, we were fighting, there was a lot of disagreement, there was a lot of abuse and pain and distress." So instead of jumping out as a solution, what if they try to fix it for the sake of your children? Which one would you think would be better? Now, sometime, the other day we looked at we had a conversation on physical abuse, and we just took a bit of it, of the domestic abuse. We look at the physical one. We're actually trying to look at the dynamics. How does it start? Or where did we actually look at how does it start? We just went to the end to say, if there is abuse, or we're actually, again, yeah, I remember now, we're actually just considering, why is the topic of physical abuse, why is it a shutter? Why does it make everybody, once you hear physical abuse, everybody start screaming, "You have to leave there before they kill you." Or sometimes you have to leave there before you kill someone. The reason we did establish in that video was that physical abuse, the risk is very high, is too high. But what we didn't consider that day is, how do we get to the position of physical abuse? I mean, by the time you were trying to marry your spouse, whether man or woman, if he was perpetually high, I'm sure you were high in drug or substance, I'm sure you would not have married the person. If the person was perpetually drunk, I'm sure you would not have married the person. If the person was a complete lunatic with rage and violence, well, I don't think I would marry such a person. What about also looking at what do I do? How do I contribute to getting things, making things get out of hand? Before the bomb exploded, the bomb was made by someone. How did I contribute to the making of the bomb? Remember, don't wait to get to die first. Don't get involved in activities that, once there's domestic violence or physical abuse, first of all, quickly call someone, get out of this space, seek help. But again, just so that we don't get distracted from the topic of today, we're trying to say, instead of the mindset of jumping out of the marriage for the sake of the children, or saving myself for the sake of the children, what about seeking help? What about fixing the marriage for the sake of the children? A lot of the time, by virtue of my profession or speaking with people, things don't just happen. I have found that a lot of the time in the divorce situations, separation situations, stalemates and all that, some of the things that play a huge role is ego on the side of the man, ego on the side of the woman. Sometimes is selfishness on both sides or one side. Sometimes it's dishonesty on both sides or one side. Sometimes there are issues of disrespect. Sometimes it's the issue of lack of self-control, lack of tongue control, and a lot of those things. Maybe instead of us going gaga and making it like a badge, now you've got social media, everybody come, they talk about these things, they make it look like, the best thing, if you look at the fruit of the spirit, one of the fruits of the spirit is perseverance. But the way all these things are being taught and preached on social media today is, oh no, I'm not going to just kill myself. What? Am I a this? Am I a that? Nobody talks about perseverance, or many people don't seem to talk about perseverance anymore. It's just a thing of, if it's uncomfortable, get out. So sometimes a lot of us even get into marriage, we have the mindset, we leave the windows open. We leave the door partly open, so that if it gets uncomfortable, you dash out. And then we now even present it as though dashing out does not have an impact on the children. That you can pay your bills and you can do a lot of things by yourself. That's not how God made it. So back to the point, what if for the sake of your children, what if you swallow your pride for the sake of your children, so that let's have peace in the house? What if you yield some of your selfishness for the sake of your children and harmony in the house? What if some of the dishonesty that is causing frustration for everybody in the house, what if you just try to be honest as long as you're still in the relationship for the sake of your children? What if a little submission for the sake of your children? What if some adjustment for the sake of the marriage? Jumping out of the marriage doesn't solve it, because wherever else you're going to jump into, there'll still be reasons demanding for submission, demanding for cooperation, demanding for honesty, demanding for accountability. They will still be there. But now what will not simply happen is, in this your new place, where now you've learned your lesson probably from your last experience, you don't want to be the guy or the man or the woman who is jumping from one marriage to the other. You're not even probably going to take more in, but this time with another mother for the children, that you couldn't make the sacrifices of letting go of some of your pride. Now it's going to be another father for the children that you couldn't make sufficient sacrifices for, for the sake of the marriage or the sake of the children. Now, a lot of the time, what seems to happen, if you see someone who's been heartbroken or who felt heartbroken. They will tell you, no, I'm never going to be in love again. I'm never going to have another boyfriend. I'm never going to have another girlfriend. I'm never going to marry again. No lie, it doesn't last. That feeling, one day you wake up, you're still going to find that you need another man in your life or another woman in your life. Then those things now become another level of risk for those children. So why not change your perspective? Seek help. Get a counselor or a therapist. Sit down. Engage. Talk about the things that truly bring the chaos and trouble and make your family, which is supposed to be a beautiful place, to become hellish. Take accountability. Be responsible. If it is a matter of your dishonesty that is infuriating your partner, why don't, if you're struggling about being honest, talk about your fears, the fears that make you take some of those decisions or make you behave in such ways that you do. Talk about them. Let the counselor walk the both of you through the situation, and then you can come out stronger and better. Some of us is unforgiveness. You can't just forgive. So instead of jumping out of the marriage and you say, and we now pretend and say, oh, I was losing my mind. You just need there to forgive. Let it go sometime. I know it's difficult. Sometimes forgive and let it go. I know we also have a graduation of the forgiveness level. If it is that he didn't come home earlier, maybe I can forgive. If it is that he was sleeping when I wanted him to wake up and let us go to church, maybe I can forgive. Or if it is that he cheated, oh no. If it is that he did this, oh no. But you're not telling the world the last time that both of you slept together. Some people will say, yes, of course, we have these odd ones where even if you sleep with them every day or every minute, they're still going to, with the smallest opportunity they have, they're still going to sleep outside. Were you aware of this thing before marriage? Is your jumping out and exposing your children an actual solution? What is the point of this video? The point of this video is to say, let us change our perspective about, oh, my marriage is hellish, I'm just going to leave. My marriage is this, I cannot come and die inside this marriage. Nobody wants you to die inside a marriage. Change your perspective. I want to fix the marriage for the sake of my children. I want to make adjustment for my spouse for the sake of my children. I want to forgive a little more. I want to be more honest. I want to be more transparent. I want to be more, it is not your child that is telling you to, hide your phone or be doing things that you are not, that you are ashamed of before your spouse or other people. And then once your spouse finds that you're hiding your phone, your spouse begins to doubt you, begin to distrust you, and this is now create problem in the family. So it has nothing to do with your children. So sometimes it's about letting go of your ego. You're the man, you're insisting, and your insistence is frustrating everybody, but you just can't make adjustment. There's also a place, sometimes you need to endure. What does the Bible say? Paul will talk about, I've learned to abound both in plenty and in little. Sometimes for some of us, all the excuses and complaints of, oh, I don't want to come and die in this way, it's just because one person has become broke. We no longer have sufficient money as we used to have. Or one person has become unwell. And so being sick has now limited the person's capability and what the person is able to provide for us. So what's the point today? I hope I'm not too serious. My point today, I will leave in this conversation leaving the conversation open, the comment section. Leave your messages, leave your comments. What do you think about it? Is it better to get help and fix the marriage, or to just jump out of it and say, my marriage is hellhole? If your marriage is hellhole, seek help from professional counselor, professional therapist. Peradventure, we might be able to find where the fire is coming in the hell of your marriage. If we remove the oxygen for the fire will go off. Again, it might be, or it might sound like, it's a bit controversial, Remember, this conversation is not absolute in itself. You have individual cases that might be a bit extreme, but the point is change your perspective. Look for or think of the solution or how to face it and how to jump out. Because for every jumping out that you do in marriage, your children are affected. It's not what you can wish away, it's not what you can pray away. Your children get affected one way or the other. Sometimes it weakens their own resolve for marriage. Because sometimes it means we are saying to them that when it gets hot, you jump out. It's also going to give them, it can affect their own commitment, resilience as they go along in life. So think about this. Change your perspective. Your children need you. They prefer you in a healthy marriage. And the solution to a healthy marriage might just be to seek help and face it and adjust yourself.